By the way, I told you Michelle was here last week.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to do this because I promised I would.
Okay.
Sheila, we're sorry. We're just really sorry. And I've told Scott to let your children go so that you don't have to be the voiceover for this any longer. So
that was what the apology she was talking about.
Now I remember.
Apologizing to Sheila.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time I talk to her.
That lady know what I don't think she had a clue. Well, she might have had a clue what she was getting into, but
she did. She knows we're stupid.
Yeah. Hey, stupid people would be offended by that.
Well, and
I know you are.
Yeah, well, and why wouldn't they?
Because we're offended by everything. It's the 21st century where men are men,
and
sort of.
Yeah.
And women are women, more or less.
Unless.
Where was I now? If you like this kind of witty banter and scathing political commentary.
That was scathing, was it? Okay.
Close as we get.
Yeah, well.
Where is that freaking cough button? Where was I? Oh, yeah. If you listen, just like, subscribe, and follow us, please. We don't really care if you listen all the time. Just do it. It makes the algorithms happy. It makes, like the folks at YouTube smile from ear to ear. And sooner or later, we'll be wealthy off of this. Pig's dream. Let's see. Like, subscribe, follow. If you want to leave us a message, you can do that wherever you find us. Gutter Budros, can't miss it. Where else? Oh, and if it's a longer missive, say you have a more eloquent? Wow, even the zebra's laughing at me.
And pointing.
You can't, he's still holding the sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you would like if you have a longer, more elegant.
Eloquent.
Or eloquent. An eloquent.
Emollient.
Comment. Conundrum.
Snark.
Nope, that's the last one. Question, comment, conundrum. Wow, you leave one out and I'm screwed. Question, comment, conundrum and snark.
Yes.
TITR@netradio.network.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
Sorry, Sheila.
Flathead Beacon Police Blotter.
We're starting off with normalcy?
Yes, we are. I just thought it'd be nice.
Nice try.
Kind of refreshing. 8:30 a.m. Someone was upset about the way their neighbor parked and attempted to solve the issue by leaving threatening notes. You're going to get such a hit.
Such a hit you'll get, I tell you.
11:51 a.m.
Why do I do that with an old Jewish guy voice?
I don't know.
Well, I know why it's an old Jewish guy, because that's what we are.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Old.
Yeah. 11:51 a.m. A black lab escaped the yard.
Hang on. Gotta
everything we learned in broadcast college, we just absolutely and utterly ignore.
I got the button.
Yeah, very well done.
And it was radio, not TV, so.
Yeah, there is that. A black lab.
I apologize for Scott's headgear.
Escaped the yard to help the neighbor with fence improvements. What are you doing? What are you doing? Can I help? Here's a nail. Don't you just love Labradors? Can I lick you? Do you have food?
You have a ball you want to throw?
12:13 p.m.
Stick, maybe? I'll go get it.
A man was convinced that agents of the deep state are entering his apartment through a hidden closet entrance. That's C.S. Lewis, dude. And have rearranged his shirts and broken his air rifle.
So
he's threatening to use the castle doctrine.
So
and accused the police officer of being a deep
you lost
state.
me at air rifle. Where's the Grand Canyon? Colorado?
Yeah. Well,
that would be a deep state.
Wouldn't it though? Rearranged his shirts and broken his air rifle. He threatened utilizing castle doctrine and accused the police officer of being a deep state prick before hanging up. He's probably the meanest guy we've ever found over there.
Right. The doctor goes home that night.
Yeah.
Daughter asks him, "So, Dad, how was work?" "Sit down, dear. Because we're going to have to kill someone."
1:04 p.m.
With
Siri.
an air rifle.
Yeah, right? A broken one, so it's going to take a while. 1:04 p.m. Siri mistakenly called.
You put an eye out with that. No.
Nope. We can take the back of a head off. 1:04 p.m.
Hang on.
The old gray cuff switch just ain't what it used to
Doesn't
be.
it work?
Yes, it works just fine.
Well, then what's the problem?
I'm glad I spent all that money to be subtle. I know what you said.
Bet you don't.
Bite me in the...
Yeah. Earlobe.
1:04 p.m. Siri mistakenly called 911 instead of the coffee shop.
So close. I mean, maybe the police station's like next door.
One can only hope.
We could, yeah.
2:07 p.m.
How do you embarrass AI? Can you do that?
I don't think it has any embarrassment genes. 2:07 p.m. A caller did not need law enforcement, but mentioned he did a great cover of Bonnie Raitt that can be heard on iTunes. And I wonder which Bonnie Raitt tune it was. Something to talk about?
Yes, you would.
I don't need anything. But
Trying
just
to figure out what he
imagine.
thought was a great Bonnie Raitt tune.
There's a bunch. She's so
Bonnie
good.
Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt. She is awesome.
Sure.
And she's a great slide player too.
That's wonderful.
I will never forget. We were listening. My wife and I were listening to the song "Something to Talk About." You remember when that was a hit?
Yep.
And I said, "Boy, Bonnie Raitt's great, and what a guitar player." And Ann goes, "You mean to tell me the guitar I'm hearing is Bonnie Raitt?" And I said, "That's not Bonnie Raitt. That's John Jorgensen." The solo comes up, the slide solo, and I go, "That's Bonnie Raitt." She went, "Oh wow."
Oh.
2:34 p.m. A missing 3-year-old was found underneath a blanket.
In his house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done that.
Yeah.
I've absolutely done that.
Yeah.
Finally.
I've lost him for real and lost him for fake. And somehow they grew up here. So there you are.
At 9:03 p.m., a group of juveniles were playing ding-dong ditch at an apartment complex before decapitating a snowman with a sledgehammer. There's an uptick in violence in the juvenile kingdom.
In the snowman sector of our news, a decapitation
Of a snowman.
that would be about right in today's. Anyway, as long as we're doing phone calls, should your pet alligator escape, do not call an ambulance, please, unless it sunk its teeth into someone. Vladdy, this is from your island, dude.
From UK?
The Welsh Ambulance Service, sometimes referred to as the Welsh Ambulance Service.
Or
Well, if you speak Welsh and a little bit Swedish, chef, made the plea to get people to stop calling with non-emergencies.
you miserable poop heads.
Well, you know, I always find that interesting in a place with socialized medicine.
Yeah.
I'm having a heart attack. Can you get to the hospital?
Can you walk?
50-50.
Yeah.
With public health services stretched thin in the UK, and we're back to socialized medicine, there is no shortage of anecdotes about folks suffering from true health emergencies who wait hours, and I'm going to add something here, hours for medical care.
Yep.
You have a off switch? Whether from paramedics or a hospital doctor. But the ambulance service said 15% of its 426,000 calls last year, or about 175 a day if you do that math, and we can't, weren't urgent.
Oh.
Weren't even health-related, and were far from being matters of life and death. Like a call about a chipped tooth that is starting to throb, a bloody toe from someone who had, and I quote, cut my little toenail on the toe and I've nipped across the top of it. And, you know, they had these little things that we got like when the kids were young. A person that you plug into your wall outlets, because one person called because they had stuck their finger in the electrical socket. I'm worried I could be electrocuted. Well, if you can see it that well.
Yes.
And then there was Emma Worrell,
Emma.
I remember, said the call taking supervisor, I remember saying to myself, alligator? The call taker just looked up and said, what is going on in your call? As a dispatcher in a busy call center in Wales, Worrell was to be unflappable, patient.
That means without flaps.
Yes, and patient means a doctor. No. And able, without children, and able to efficiently handle the most stressful of calls, in which a delay of a second or two, or maybe a minute, could be the difference between life and death, which is why people sometimes wait hours.
Before walking to the hospital with a major heart attack.
She understands that some people have a different gauge. That's the French for gauge.
I thought it was gauge.
Yeah, you would. I know my language. I know how foreign. I know how people outside the U.S. speak.
Talk.
Whatever. But it's still frustrating when someone phones the emergency number to say they're locked out of their house and cold now. Or my dog jumped in a river and won't swim back. Yes, those are calls she's fielded.
Mm-hmm.
We just asked everybody to find an alternative pathway before phoning for an ambulance, please. The ambulance service is for those who are experiencing life-threatening problems. Her craziest call came in the afternoon from a man who phoned to say his son's pet alligator had escaped and was hiding under the sofa. That was my reaction.
Why wouldn't you call the animal people?
I don't know.
Don't the Britons have
why do you
animal
call
people?
City Hall in some
Or the
places
Welsh?
to complain about the electricity? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just...
I asked if he'd been hurt. He said no, but he was scared. He wanted paramedics to help him corral the toothy reptile. And I told him...
Paramedics?
In case something does happen while you're corralling the gator.
Well, then you make the call.
Preventative medicine. It's all the rage. I told him that we wouldn't be sending an ambulance for something like that. And he said, so wait, let me get this right. You're not going to send me any help until I get bit? Is that right? That's correct. That one I can't argue with.
Get a cast iron skillet, bop it on the nose. It won't bother you.
And the Welsh ambulance folks aren't alone. Southwestern Ambulance Service in England this week said more than a quarter of the million plus phone calls they field didn't merit any help. Wasn't that the one guy with the heart attack who they asked if he could walk?
Yeah, can't you just walk?
So maybe we have to reevaluate. But the non-emergency calls from there included a person looking for assistance in finding their walking stick, a patient who'd fallen off a chair in a hospital.
Well, this is an emergency to them.
Fallen off a chair in a hospital.
Yeah.
Look for somebody with white sneakers. Who's not 10, and you'll be fine.
There you go.
Or the one woman who called to complain of a horrendous nightmare.
I dreamed Biden was still in office.
Okay, on that one, I would just call the emergency psychologist. And
I dreamed Tony Blair was coming back.
we did. Yeah, but at least he was fun.
Blair was fun.
Yeah. I don't know did he do anything while he was in office? I know he made a lot of headlines, but that was mostly for,
The corduroy pillows. Yeah. Yeah.
Worrell said we did have a little chat about when she got off the phone with the alligator thing.
Yeah.
Took a short break and shared the story to amuse the colleagues. We did have a little chat about that, and yeah, back to work I went. On to the next call.
Nice. This
Fell off a chair in a hospital, called 911.
This from Vice via Ronnie Tucker. Thanks, Ronnie.
Miami?
No. UK.
Oh, the TV, the series.
No. This is from a newspaper, news organization.
So like the Vice TV network thing.
So, yeah.
The dark side of pro wrestling.
The dark side of lightness. The UK's,
the dark side of the sun. Oh, can't use that one.
UK's Royal Navy suspected Russian drones were targeting its nuclear subs. See, they kept hearing these suspicious pings in the ocean. Officials were picking up mysterious...
So there are sub drones?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Officials were picking up mysterious sounds they mistook for one of Vladimir Putin's drone subs. They clarified that the sounds were occurring near where the UK's Doomsday subs are based, their nuclear subs. First detected the noise traveling north toward the open sea, then returning days later and traveling south toward the Sky Bridge. Naturally, they had to further investigate to ensure they were not at risk. Imagine their surprise when they realized
they found
it was just farts coming from a whale
very disappointing.
that had overdosed on baked beans or the whale equivalent thereof.
Should have known this. It's you. I should have known this.
Sounds like Putin.
Okay. Aneurysm, I think.
Pooping.
Or just you.
Farting.
So, do you want to test your knowledge or find out what... Here, let's do the weird stories from Colorado. Thanks, Michelle.
Okay.
That way it'll be an all Michelle day for me.
Oh, good.
2000, in the year 2000, a notorious peeping Tom who liked to stand at the bottom of the, here we go, sewage vault in park outhouses near Fort Collins and videotape women using the latrine was finally apprehended in January of 2000. Robert Thomas Kebab.
Let's go with kebab.
Sure.
He's no baby.
That's a long way to go. Standing in the sewage vault. Do you know what the sewage vault is?
Mm-hmm.
It's what stores the sewage.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He had eluded police for more than a year before they finally compared fingerprints at the scene, because really, who wanted to? What do you think?
I'm not comparing them.
I think it's a guy. Name is probably Robert. No, look at the fingerprints. Oh, look at them.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm not doing that.
Don't recognize the prints, but the smell's familiar.
The fun part, of course, is that the 42-year-old had recently submitted his prints to the Colorado Department of Education. That's how they caught him. Why, you say?
Why?
He was pursuing a teaching license at Regis University. 2001, they were getting all pissy about George Bush. I don't get that one at all, except they're trying to sell old toilet paper. Remember the guy in Colorado, the big protests, and he had toilet paper with Bush's face on it? Cheney.
Oh, yeah.
2002, the Jesus Run, organized by a Highland Ranch ministry of the same name, sent out a call for world-class runners in a June race. As a further inducement, the race director, Robert Sigmund, promised to establish a marathon and a 12K Jesus Run Israel around Sea of Galilee. Hang on, you'll understand why this is all why you have that look in your head and going, what? I don't...
Right.
So problems, if you will, bedeviled the entire event. One runner complained that the course was really confusing. Others ratted out participants for running distances other than what they signed up for. And one of the top competitors said he was promised prize money for finishing second, but never saw that $500. Jesus Run Ministries has since laid off its entire paid staff. I tried to look and see if there was an update on it.
Jesus Run Ministries.
I can't find them anywhere. I think that may have been the death knell.
Well, hopefully, because this is a stupid idea.
There are some things stupid people can't come back from.
Run, Jesus, run!
2003, November, bad nose for Burlington High School. Fish smell wafted through the air vents.
See Simon run. Run, Simon, run. See Jesus run after Simon. Saying, get behind me, Simon.
Jesus wouldn't have to, Michael.
Go get him.
Janitor investigated discovered that vandals had stuffed parts of a decomposing 16-ton whale under some ceiling tiles. How did we miss this?
That's fantastic.
And then dumped the rest of Free Willy in the garbage. The whale had been on display in a trailer just outside of town. That must have been interesting to see, or maybe they just hacked off parts you couldn't see. Here, lift him up. We'll cut underneath.
There we go.
Lift him up. He's a whale. School officials allowed students to go home if they couldn't stomach the odoriferous orca. I'm out of there, whether I could stomach it or not.
I'm just leaving.
Out of school. By that afternoon, 40 of the 240 students remained. Burlington has since seen no upsurge in marine biology majors, by the way, when they leave.
You know, it was the first question I was going to ask.
January of 2004, a 13-year-old boy was arrested with a string of break-ins that caused over $250,000 in damage to a business in southeast Denver. It was the American Oil and Gas building on Hampton Avenue, and according to police, The young vandal had spilled cognac. Well, he is 13. Probably drank some of it and then spilled it because that's what you do when you're 13 and drink cognac.
Especially if you drink too much of it too fast.
He smeared blood and left a scrawled message that read, and I quote, "She's cute and sexy as hell. I want her tomorrow by 8 p.m. or everybody will die." To this day, we still don't know who the cute, sexy girl is. 2 weeks earlier, by the way, a prowler had broken into the same building and spent 22 minutes on their computers surfing porn sites. I'm guessing, and I'm just guessing, same guy.
Yeah.
2006, June wedding in Boulder had to be postponed after a tussle in the Aspen hotel room led to their arrest the night before the wedding.
The nuptials.
Yeah. Ali Aguili and Marriott and Marnie Hurst had been, here's a shock, they'd been drinking. Argument broke out over who would babysit their 1-year-old son while the lovebirds attended a party at a local bar. Hurst had some swelling around her eyes. Aguili had scratches on his face. The judges called it a draw. The two were booked and released with a temporary order to avoid contact with one another. That might be... You may now stay 5 feet away from the bride. Denver Bronco fans are a weird bunch. Jerry and Larry Priest,
Yeah.
elderly couple, would sound a horn whenever the Broncos scored.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't exactly a horn. They sounded a horns. They had built this thing that had 6 different car horns in it. Whenever they scored, they'd let that puppy off.
Oh, Lord.
So in October of 2007, 69-year-old Jerry was cited for disorderly conduct after a neighbor complained numerous times about the priest's loud contraption. "I love the Broncos. I don't care if they lost. I still hunk the horns. I'm always a Broncos fan," said Jerry. But in December, as part of a negotiated agreement, they donated the horn to a charity. It would be auctioned off, money given to the boys and girls clubs. I'm guessing that thing probably had to find a home somewhere outside of Adams County.
Yeah, one would guess.
Yeah. And in 2008, the story I liked the best was the elk that had been hanging out near David Furr's home in western Colorado, because elk do that.
Yes.
And they destroy small golf courses because you can't do anything to scare them off, because that would be bad for the environment.
Not only would it be bad,
It would give the elk bad self-esteem.
they're huge and they're ornery.
They are. Not as ornery as moose, but
Correct.
and not quite as big as moose.
No.
But again, large and ornery.
Larger than deer by a lot.
So when Fur apparently left the door open a smidge, the elk decided he's just going to wander on in there, because why not? And of course, what happens when elk gets indoors? Hardwood floor, elk hooves, slippy slidey. Took him an hour. No, it took him a half hour to get up and out of the house again.
How do the humans do it?
So if you're an elk, let me just give you some advice. Don't be a burglar. For one, I'm not sure how you would pick the lock with those hooves, but...
Yeah, well, they're cloven, aren't they, or something?
Slip sliding away.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.